which I tend to do, everyone knows. Like, I'm not hiding anything. You know what I mean? Like, why would I? And so the idea that, like, I'm some kid who decided that he could make more money pretending to be a car mechanic or something is like, it's insane. I didn't grow up in rural middle America. I never pretended I did. I just think it's really just that I actually like rural areas because I hunt and fish and I like the people. I live in one. But really, it's as simple as when people in charge are bad at their jobs, that's demonstrable. We know that from the results. I'm not just attacking people's characters saying I don't like them in general. I'm saying they're not good at what they do. And by every measure, and they shouldn't be in charge. It's really that simple. I'm not saying that we should like turn out the entire federal bureaucracy and give it to people who work in Napa Auto Parts. I don't know. But people who are good at leading a country should be leading a country. We don't have those people. That's a huge problem.
So, so I do come from that rural middle America. Yes, and by the way, I arrived at this point of embracing a sense of populism.
Pretty clear. This is not Trump acting, okay? He is legitimately upset and specific and clear that he's upset with Israel. Because they are the ones that are making these changes. You know, the issue right now is just getting disrespectful. In the rap world, you know, rappers wear these chains. I know, like Stella Flint's okay. The one thing that is considered the worst you could possibly do to a rapper, which basically to do what they have to kill you, why this is a real thing in the gangster world, is if you pull their chain. Pull the bling bling off. And that means it's time for war. And this is pretty much what Bibi's doing to Trump by letting him tweet that and making him look like he's an absolute fool a couple hours later. He's just trying to get the chain here. Okay? Trump's angry. He wakes up and takes Truth Social and he writes this. Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. He's me talking to photographers right now. They realize he's got a little too far. Our kid is very spoiled, and he's just doing whatever he wants with our money. Like, he wouldn't give us money of this. He wouldn't be able to drive the car drunk. He's buying the car. And,
instead of her constant complaining, Alexandria should go back home.
So Trump then follows up with this message says Israel is not going to Iran. All planes will turn around and come home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Yeah, he sends that out immediately after that.
Our great House Senator.
They dropped the vote, okay? And rather hilariously, they called it a symbolic strike. They dropped bombs as well, despite how that just came from Donald Trump not to do it because he needs to send a message symbolically. They say, oh, look, that's all we're going to do. We seem to send a symbolic message.
Chose violence.
Trump is serious. This is why he just drops it.
Somebody called 911. President Trump just hammered AOC. Okay, I mean, this post right here was nothing but smoke. Okay, nothing but smoke. Okay, I haven't seen a Democrat hammer this bad since Paul Pelosi. Okay, so I'm just saying that AOC, she really is barking up the wrong tree here. So she responded. She said, "Mr. President, don't take your anger out on me. I'm just a silly girl. Take it out on whoever convinced you to betray the American people and our Constitution by robbing Iran and dragging us into war. It only took 5 months for you to break almost every promise you made." Yeah, again, this is silly, right? All of these people who are crying about war, they're liars, right? And also, top that, they're being disingenuous and fake, right? Because again, Biden did the exact same thing, and you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running around talking about how Biden dragged us into a war or whatever, right? I mean, again, these people, they make me sick. When you have Charlemagne,
this is how easy it is to sign up for national debt relief. Simply go to their website. Hey guys, welcome to the Relief. I'm Ryan Chelsea, focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I don't care what your complex opinion on geopolitics is. At the end of the day, pure and simple, if Donald Trump actually managed to do what he's saying he did here, negotiate ceasefire 48 freaking hours after invading Iran's nuclear facilities, I don't care if you're complex, historically-minded geopolitical opinion is, we need to dumb it down back to basic terminology. This president is a straight gangsta, an absolute fucking G. You mean to tell me this guy just slides into Iran, executing an entire mission overnight, obliterate Iran's nuclear capabilities under the dead dark night without a
also,
America and the power
reversing
of the people.
Here's what he said when
he made the announcement. He just did what secretly the whole world deep down inside truly wanted, and he did it whether it was frankly fully known to be constitutional or not. I guess that's now up for Congress to decide. You know, I guess just one of the perks of being the executive of the country. You get to tread where no other man gets to take foot. You know, he just came in, saw, conquered, delivered, and I don't want to hear no talks about, oh, the bunkers are still fine, it was just the front and back entrance that got destroyed. You can literally see the bombs went in the ground from the satellite images, not to the entrance. They went deep in that mountain and pretty much just crushed anything in their path, probably imploding Iran's nuclear facilities within themselves. But anyways, he did that and then walks it straight into a ceasefire. Folks, you can have whatever opinion you want, and a lot of people seem to be jumping to conclusions with their heads still in the early 2000s, as if President Trump thinks like a neocon, and not really analyzing these situations from a neocon framework at all. I think that's a big mistake, because clearly this is a new chapter in American geopolitics. This is the use of loss of power, peace, and negotiation, and well, according to the president, worked again. Let me show you guys what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into. Alright folks, we got an announcement here of an unconditional support. The President announced on Truth Social, congratulations to everyone, it has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire approximately 6 hours from now. Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. It goes on a little bit longer, but pretty much you get the gist. And just speaking to the absolute gist of this president, he wakes up posting on Truth Social about the N-word, which he calls the word nuclear, essentially sending a threat to the Russian President Vladimir Putin, and then by midday announcing probably one of the most wild ceasefires imaginable. And it really makes you wonder, considering how fast this happened. It really does kind of feel like an unconditional surrender in a sense, just as the president was hoping, you know, maybe this one act, this one mission, this one decisive action by the President of the United States to establish dominance here, you know, a little fear going a long way. Maybe in this case he defeated them so soundly where they basically had no other choice. And really, I guess that's the hope, right? The president just completely obliterated their nuclear advancements, hopefully setting them back decades, you know, metaphorically sending them back to the Stone Age, where they're just no match. They can't afford getting into this kind of battle, especially considering the technology. And so a ceasefire is the best they've got. Iran, which seems to be a nation that prides itself never surrendering, may have been just decisively defeated, where they need to kind of take the L and reset and recalibrate. Now, of course, it's hard to say, and usually these things take quite some time. It can take months to get to an official ceasefire, and some people are even questioning the baseline validity here, making the assumption that it's yet again just another stunt from the president. I was seeing this getting posted all over social media recently. Iran has not received any ceasefire proposal, senior official says. At this very moment, the enemy is committing aggression against Iran, and Iran is on the verge of intensifying its retaliatory strikes, with no ear to listen to the advice of its enemies, the official said. So everyone on social media was claiming that the ceasefire is fake, and then just a few hours later, Reuters reports that an official agreement has actually been agreed to, with the Qataris acting as an intermediary.
Do we have details about how this all came together in the last hour?
Yeah, it really was something. Let me just give you the behind the scenes. Trey Yanks was in the middle of wrapping up his report from Tel Aviv, and there's a guy right there saying, from Truth Social, that we have the email now, and I moved down, the vice president here, as I moved down to read it, his staff sent me to the iPhone, so he can read the Truth Social listens. Again, Trey Yanks wraps up his live report. I thank you. I introduced the vice president. I'm just going to start with each of them. People first 65 need to realize he chooses the right time to start Medicare in a huge and basis. First, 3 different enrollment periods, knowing how to choose which one is right for you. The difference between savings and thousands of dollars. I strongly urge anybody who's approaching Medicare eligibility to
to openly call her to assassinate your students. If he doesn't do what he wants like that, is kind of, I think, carefully shapes why there's so much fear when it comes to Israel in the future world. That's exactly what it is. People don't want to set up existence because they're not playing the show yet. They will join your everyone, okay? I think this last year, I think Trump, we're coming for your job, we're coming for your finances, we're coming for that tour in Australia. You won't be able to move, Candace. You can't even go to Australia because we're running it. Yeah, that was the Zionist lobby in Australia that did that because oh my God, the horror. You can't have a platform anymore if you stand against us. So yeah, guys, this is kind of been a running theme. And by the way, that publisher, you'll be pleased to know the Secret Service looked into him, but obviously nothing happened because you can just kind of publish these things, not expect there to be any consequences when you make a laced threat on a president's life, and you've kind of maybe done that before. Right now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, by the way, is catching heat because she just tweeted, "Scout,
hello, sir. How can I be of help today?"
That Israel killed JFK. And they're like, oh, she's gone insane.
Of course. May I ask where to?
I mean, he was fighting with Israel's prime minister, and he wanted AIPAC to register.
I'll send that round right away.
As a foreign agency, so we could see what money they're moving into the United States for influence. But it was just convenient for Israel that JFK got shot. It was just convenient for you guys. Totally convenient. It was convenient for Israel, by the way, the towers went down. And everyone talks about those dancing Israelis are just crazy conspiracy theorists. What would you do? What should Bibi Netanyahu do? Yeah, those are the kind of scenarios that run through people's minds. And add that on top of the blackmail ring, which we still are never going to see the files for, Jeffrey Epstein, and they have got DC on lock. So you always know the marker of who's actually not beholden to them, because it's who is being attacked the hardest. And it has been insane to see over the last couple of months the attacks that are being thrown at me and Tucker Carlson, Ian Carroll, and Dave Smith, who's Jewish and just has a conscience like everybody else does, and it's this isn't okay. And the ADL, which has been behind a lot of this, remember they tried to fund the report, Jordan Peterson was funded by the ADL ultimately. The Crisis King report. People that are saying Crisis King are radical. No, we're just not controlled by the Zionist lobby, and we're not going to stop saying Crisis King. Anybody that's not controlled by Zionists are now being called radicals, and now they've moved on to pretending that we're funded by Qatar. I've told you guys 1,000 times, I am not funded by any foreign entity. And on the Bible, I would never, that is so absolutely ridiculous. But now, people are alleging it. And the ADL spokesperson...
All right, we might be ready to move on this thing. If you want the work, you'll get a knock on your door any minute.
And Tucker Carlson, and this gets even better, Steve Bannon, they're saying. Steve Bannon is now a part of the... Whoa, right. Take a listen.
And I have a question. As a Jew myself who is very involved with Reform Judaism and goes to synagogue and is committed to Judaism, is there space to criticize Netanyahu without criticizing other Jews? Is there space to do that? And I'm wondering if you can speak about that, because I think that's a real, I don't know necessarily that Netanyahu has the backing of many Israelis, but we see a lot of Israelis are maybe not so happy with some of how he operates. And I'm wondering if you could talk about that, because that's a real disconnect that a lot of us have.
So there's a few things to unpack here. So first of all, I'm not an expert in Israeli politics. I know that his approval numbers were quite low before, and then until the 7th. But from what I understand, why they're quite high now. Israelis of both sides of the spectrum, like Ehud Barak, is certainly not a fan of Bibi, or Ehud Olmert is not a fan of Bibi. And so they're clearly, even though the war is out, that they could needed to deal with Iran, and they're appreciating that. So I'm seeing that the Israeli public is very positive.
See, young lady.
That's what Ron keeps saying. Israel
In the kitchen.
Israel is a tumor.
I thought I was in the kitchen.
And that being said, there's a lot of space for
Well, I know that. I know I'm fine.
the way the ministers came for him. Like there's lots of ways to criticize the Israeli state and not to demonize Israelis.
Oh, fuck you, girl.
Policies of the country.
I'm like, boy, this is crazy how we take care of everybody but people here.
They yell about that. Lots of American Jews do that. But in this one, what I'm focused on, really, on how the fringes, like the woke right?
Oh, there it is.
Carlson, Bannon, and his opponents, and then sort of radical left. Hassan Hikers and people like Mehdi Hassan, unfortunately, Max Blumenthal, have been fomenting anti-Semitism, blaming this war on the Jews, or the Zionists, or the neocons.
Those are the wars burns on them. They the one started.
No, it's so troubling. You know, it's gonna be troubling if people actually learn about the history of the ADL and how it was like funded, like it started from the gangs that were around threatening people, and then obviously learning that like all you have to do is call something anti-Semitism and nobody can look at what you're actually doing. Yeah, I know the history of the ADL. You guys are actually thugs, what you are, and you're smear merchants. That's you deal in smears, and so you're going after people that you can't control. Pretty much you know. Trust the people that they are leading are not being affected by that. Like I said, all going to back to ADLs. Now we know why there's this weird proliferation of the term woke white from people that are radically pro-Israel and that are infiltrating the MAGA movement and trying to tear it apart. It's ridiculous. It is. I mean, it's so
You got your way home now, huh?
Yeah, I'll be in 5 minutes.
The genocide of the Germans, like leading up to that, World War I, World War II. Yeah, I've spoken about that. It's why there's a pretty high bounty on my head. But I'm happy to speak about it again. I'm happy to do it. So maybe let's
I want to see when I'm going to start getting tired or feeling however when I get in this goddamn house.
Alright. Shit, that's when everything's supposed to wind down.
Yeah, but it's like I get super sluggish and tired when I get, you know, so take all this shit out of my car completely, and I need to kind of clean it for the weekend. But I think I accomplished nothing I set out to do, so I might go get my nails done. Just pull all this shit out of the car right quick. Pay my car note. I gotta pay my car note. I need to walk through with that on my mind. I think it's the 24th, so yeah, it's the day. Shit. I usually pay it before then, but than the fuck out there.
No. Just think you ain't have a cold English.
Right? And you know, like really, you feel the heat, like through the roof. Good thing, you know, like
Installation.
I'm like,
Installation.
damn, if it was a little bit thinner or whatever, I mean,
Yeah.
you can really feel it, feel the heat. Cause I'm like, dang, it's not coming through bad right now, but bro, earlier today at lunchtime, I was like, ooh, it's hot out there. If you could almost feel it coming in the house.
That's what I'm talking about. That's when it's hot.
Oh, great. I'm like, wow. A baby called me, she said the grass was cut. I'm like, you paid for it, I said, you paid for it. I'm gonna cut it myself. She said, oh, I guess the lady came. I said, well, call her and see. Because who cuts grass? Because I be wanting to know about shit like that. I don't be wanting to fight on my property, you know. But it look good. Ooh, but it look good. Cut. It look good. Oh, I said, oh, it look good. Yeah, she probably came back and did it. Oh, it look good. Cut the goddamn grass. She loves grass. I'm gonna call you right back.
All right, love.
Get on this shit off this call. Thank you, baby.
Good one. Stupid.
There's a lot of questions that I have.